My name is Councillor Keith Kondakor and I'm the leader of the Green Group on the Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council. This presentation is about the Borough's Council's local council tax support scheme. This scheme basically helps people out if they can't afford to pay the council tax. Under the previous system, the government actually totally funded local council tax support, but this new system underfunds the scheme by about 10%. Basically, councils can try and recover this underfunding by requiring a minimum payment of council tax from the very poorest working age households. The Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council is trying to take about £1 million from around 6,300 households who actually need help with 80 to 100% of their council tax. That is effectively £177 per year it is now trying to take from these households. At the moment, there is, about 6,300 working age families that get support under the local council tax support scheme. That actually adds up to about £4.5 million worth of support. Pensioners get about £4.5 million of support, so the scheme costs around £9 million. This includes, however, the £1 million the council is now raising from the working age poor. So effectively the scheme used to cost around £10 million. And as you can see, the numbers vary each year that need council tax support, but it's very roughly around 6,000 working age households. To help the households that really can't afford to pay their council tax, any of it, the council set up a £200,000 hardship fund. Unfortunately, the money for this is actually raised from those same most needy households. On average, it costs £33 per household for those who have to pay the minimum payment. And in 2013-14, only £9,467 was actually paid back from this hardship fund. This year and going forward, the council's hardship fund is likely to pay out less than £20,000 a year, and around half the claims for help from the hardship fund are actually rejected. So as you can see from the table, we are only actually helping around 200 people a year with this hardship fund, but we're collecting money from about 6,000 hard up families to do this. And of course there's a massive problem with hardship leading to liability orders, and these actually add up to £80 a time. So the people who can't pay the council tax are effectively taken to court and charged another £80 to try and have a liability order to get a payment arrangement for them. And this actually takes around £570,000 from the poorest people in the borough. So in addition to the £1 million we're raising from the minimum payment, there's another £500,000 or so taken in terms of summons being issued against the poorest in the Nuneaton and Bedworth. And the Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council hits the poorest far harder than most of our neighbouring councils. This table shows the councils in Leicestershire, Warwickshire and the West Midlands, and only Birmingham actually charges 20% like Nuneaton and Bedworth. In our neighbouring councils, North Warwickshire charges 8.5% of the minimum amount of council tax, Rugby 15%, Warwick 7.5%, Stratford-upon-Avon nothing at all, and if you lived in Coventry and you were really hard up, you would have 100% council tax relief, i.e. there'd be nothing left to pay. The council tax, once collected, goes into a collection fund. This is effectively a fund that is shared between the police, the county council and the borough council. And so the £53 million that was collected in council tax last year goes into what's known as the collection fund. Out of this goes around £6.8 million to the borough council, £6 million to the police and crime commissioner, and almost £39 million to Warwickshire County Council. That actually adds up to £52 million taken in last year, or that's what's expected to be taken in. Because of the hardship fund that was underspent and various other changes, we actually over-collected about £1.3 million of council tax last year. and this actually becomes a surplus that is distributed amongst the councils. Also, we actually undercollected about £1.5 million of business rates due to the appalling state of the economy within Nuneaton and Bedworth. So in addition to actually dishing out 1.3 million, the councils have to actually transfer 1.5 million to pay for the underperforming business rates. As you can see, however, out of the 1.3 million surplus in the council tax collection fund, only 173,000, i.e. 12%, actually goes, or 13%, actually goes back into the Nuneaton and Bedworth Borough Council. So what do we need to do? Well, obviously we need to not take the £180,000 that's used to create the hardship fund from the poorest people in Nuneaton, because that money is effectively lost for Nuneaton. Only 12% goes to the police, 13% goes to the borough council, most of it goes to the county council, and a lot of that will be spent in other parts of the country. We need to investigate the cost-benefit analysis of actually scrapping or halving this minimum payment. Lots of councils like Coventry have a zero minimum payment, and obviously that saves the councils loads of money in actually trying to set the bailiffs and the courts on people who haven't actually got any money to give the council. And we need to invest more efforts into actually reducing poverty within the borough so that less people need support with the council tax. Please lobby your borough councillors and your parliamentary candidates over this unfair system. Obviously I'm standing for Parliament, but we need pressure put on all the candidates to sort out this local council tax support. And I've got a YouTube video of the cabinet meeting last week where I tried to raise the issue. And there's lots more information on the internet. There's a great site with all the data, counciltaxsupport.org, and please take part and help the Green Party. Thank you for your time.